To represent our social group, we will be using the camera to film predominantly close-ups and wide shots of our female protagonist, and the items that would associate her as like an introvert, such as like bright clothing and a map. So we're also going to frame the extras to represent like the majority of society and acting as one like cluster of a normalised social group. We want these shots to show the split between different social groups and really allow our protagonist to stand out amongst them. So because of this, we've chosen to use a female actor. She would conform to like the conventional stereotype of being weak and represent the introvert of society, trying to be an individual and find herself, but also like trying to blend in. So what do you think about what I've suggested, and do you think we'll be able to show her like conforming to the stereotype at the beginning?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to be quite careful with almost not with your main protagonist, but with your extras, to make them really, really different from her. And sort of if she's going to be an introvert, you need to make her already like and curled up and like not wanting to talk to anyone, and everyone else has got to be really loud and talking to each other, running around.
It's got to be really explicit, otherwise you might not notice it.
Because the bright colours, I would associate bright colours with an extrovert more than I would with an introvert.
Yeah.
But I see what you're doing with the whole making her stand out as being different. So I think to sort of counterbalance the whole bright colours, extrovert connotations, you need that extra difference with the extras.
So to go on from that, she will also be wearing like really bright clothing. So we suggest like an orange jumper that won't be branded, like again fit in with like the stereotype of being individual and like shopping at her own like social group. And we also want to challenge this stereotype at the end of the music video by starting off like her conforming as a typical teenager, like struggling to fit in with those around her, much like the age range of like 18 to 25-year-olds who like struggle to find their place. And then we also want to contrast this with like a simple reason as to why she can't fit in, so like that being headphones. So I imagine this as like she has been blocked out by them as they're using the headphones as like a way to escape the real world and blocking it out like around them, and like turning the whole idea on its head and having like a different perspective. So she's like living in the real world and they're like in the false of their own like music. So what do you think about using that as a prop?
I think that's a really good prop to use because it's quite easy. It's sort of quite a simple thing, but it creates like a really good contrast between her and makes her stand out more in a way because it's something so small.
And I think it's really interesting what you're saying with the headphones, sort of completely turning it on your side, that normally it would be like the person with their headphones is sort of like don't know what they're doing, but now she's in the normal world, she knows what's going on, but everyone else is just
trying
to
escape.
Yeah, I think it really works for filtering out, to display the filtering out that these people are doing.
And what do you think, what are like your own views about headphones and what they kind of represent?
Well, I think headphones are good quite a lot of the time because they sort of like, say you don't want to talk to someone, you can shove your headphones in and then you don't have to speak to them and you've got that excuse. But there is much less social interaction in the world now, I think, because of headphones and just technology as a whole. But I guess there are pros and cons to headphones, like with anything.
I like the contrast they've got as well between, like, as Rosie said, headphones are really something you'd wear to isolate yourself from everybody else, like have your own time. In fact, that she is very much not doing that and is actually in the world. It's sort of a nice contrast between her being isolated when in fact she's the one who's got the most sense out of everybody. I like that a lot.
So we're going to be using a chest prop, and this way it like allows it to become the one thing she's missing to kind of like connect with everyone and create a stereotype like finding her own place. So this will be received in both positive and negative ways due to like members of the social group being able to relate to like our protagonist for the majority of the video, as she's like striving to fit in and being accepted. But it can also be received negatively as we'll be like presenting this idea as something she wants to escape, while some people might find this to be like the right way and just like and fitting in like as your own. So or disagree that we haven't properly represented her. So which end would you kind of put yourself on, receiving like the representation of the protagonist as intro, like positively or negatively?
I think positively as well, It's sort of sending a message that you don't have to wear headphones to be popular, like not in like a sense of wear headphones to be popular, but like in sort of a metaphorical sense, like you don't need to wear them to fit in with everyone else. Like you can stand out.
we'll be using the school to film one part of the video, showing like the stereotype for not being able to fit in an environment that probably links to that idea, as like school's like one of the places that you can't. We're also going to be using a well-lit desk room to show her like trying to work things out, matching this with like quick cuts to show her like trying to get somewhere and let the audience to think it's like really uplifting, but she's actually frustrated and able to figure it out. And then this will be like following the pace of like the peak of the music, as well as representing it as like isolated and quite negatively for the audience. It will enable us to lead us like into the animation and act as the mind of the protagonist, giving it that trippy and psychedelic element that the style of the music is. It's helping to promote the artist. The animation will include like basic lines and placing the protagonist in a sort of trance where she discovers the answers to finally become happy and feel like she belongs. So do you think we can represent the artist in a way that you'd enjoy watching?
No, you go.
Okay, I think animation is a good way to represent it because it's like you can do anything with animation really. Like you can represent the protagonist in it like in the way you need in order to fit the music. And so I think an animation is a good idea for that.
And also what you were saying about sort of the psychedelic and trippy side of it, like because I haven't heard the music, but if that is the sort of style of it, I feel like the artist is always trying to bring themselves out in the style of their music. So almost the artist has almost done half of it for you already by creating this music with their personality in it.
And using animation, you can definitely show what you want is going on in her mind, and it will be really clear.
Yeah, it would be more difficult to do it just with filming real life, I think.
And finally, we want these reputations to appeal to our audience, so we'll be using an 18-year-old female actor, and typical student props such as stationery and paper, and give the colour feel like an indie rock and psychedelic genre, especially through the animation. We also want to particularly appeal to them through the feeling of being an individual and introvert, trying to find your place in society. So do you think we'd be able to appeal to you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because I think everyone sort of our age group is struggling to find their own place, struggling to find where they fit in, because particularly at secondary school it's such a suffocating atmosphere, and because there's so many you've sort of got your set groups of different people. We feel like we've moved on from that, but really you've still got your groups of sort of your nerds, your sporties, your populars, and I think the whole individualism aspect of your video is really going to show that no matter sort of which group you're in, everyone is struggling to find out who they are before they have to sort of leave their comfort zone and go out into the wider world.
Yeah, you don't really get much time to find who you are as well. It's sort of very much up to you to find out for yourself.
Yeah.